It is the case that you haven't been in a very healthy environment where you can share emotions, like say, for example, when I lived with my parents, they were they weren't understanding of my emotions. If I ever, uh, cried or anything, they'd get angry, think that I was just being a drama, like throwing too much drama. Then when the house I was in was a group home, people didn't respect my personal space, so naturally I have an issue with bottling up feelings. Now, bottling up feelings, it may not seem like a very big deal, like it's maybe like, oh, maybe when you're alone you can let them out, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way. This You tend to have a lot of repression. Like you repress your emotions, like every single time you feel as though you need to an emotion, you kind of chastise yourself and say, no, you can't do this, you're supposed to be strong. What if it shows in public? And one thing that definitely happens is it comes to kind of a blow up phase, like it's like the cycle of toxicity, how that it starts off with this little bit of a honeymoon phase, and then eggshell phase, and then all of a sudden some sort of blow up phase where you just kind of lose your crap. Like one thing, I know for a fact, like I have very high cortisol. Like no matter how much I work out, I cannot put on muscle, and that is most likely has to do with the fact that my emotions are really repressed. Like my feelings are bottled up, and I think that has a lot to do with why I have such high cortisol. Like naturally, the muscle will break down for reusable energy because I'm kind of always in the sympathetic nervous system phase, like fight, freeze, fawn, hyperfocus. Um, Another thing that can happen is like you may like you have trouble reaching out. Like some people will ask you, "Are you fine?" And even when you're not fine, you'll tell them, "No, I'm fine." Act as though nothing's wrong when really secretly inside you're dying. And maybe it shows to some people who know you really well, but I mean, if it's a phone call, they absolutely will not understand. Like I know right now, like I'm just going through like an insomnia, and I know it's a sign of something happening. It could be just it's anniversary syndrome. Like you know, anniversary syndrome last year was not such a good year, and also I know like in 2 weeks my birthday's coming up, and it's like I know obviously I might get some unhappy messages from my parents, and it's also just really it has never really been such a great positive experience. I know my friends are trying to make it a more positive experience for me going forward. They always remember it, but yeah. Another thing that I don't really talk about much is this absolute fear of intimacy. Whenever you have or kind of personally bottles emotions, like I mean, whenever you're intimate with someone, you have to be sort of vulnerable, and then you have to kind of communicate how you're feeling with them for that purpose. Like I've never had a positive sexual encounter and probably never will, and it's not something that I really care for anyway. Because I mean I've talked about this in a previous video. I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, you just like I understand that being vulnerable is a very difficult thing, and a friend of mine, I actually edited her paper for so she could become a nurse practitioner, so she could get published. And she said that vulnerability as an ER nurse was very important. Now uh, I understand, I would never choose to be an ER nurse if I was ever a nurse. I would choose something completely different, more likely working with people with mental health. But yeah, I definitely have issues showing vulnerability and reaching out, and I do tend to have periodic breakdowns. I'm working on it, absolutely trying to work on it. I obviously clearly have the knowledge that this is what's happening. I bottle emotions, but it's definitely a work in progress. And yeah, anyways, as always, thanks for watching. Sorry, I'm very shaky sometimes when I talk on YouTube. It's my thoughts come too fast. Anyway, thanks a lot.